Eduardo, great to see you. How's everybody doing? It's been a long day. Put your hands up. Shake them up there. Wake up, wake up. This is a fun guy. Like, if there's one cool part, this is going to be it. This is, it's all been cool. Eduardo, Jeb Bush is down on your campus, and he is about to start in 7 minutes and announce, allegedly, his candidacy for the President of the United States, and you were not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and why is that?
I could pay a price for that.
You could pay a price for that. You were not there either when Marco Rubio announced his thing at Miami Dade College. So is there anyone you would actually go to your school to...
Even.
Yeah, what's that?
I'm even now.
You're even now. So is there anyone you would go to your school to attend to sort of hear them announcing?
Well, if you visit, I'll make sure that I'll be there.
Well,
no, we are, it's unprecedented that both top candidates for the nomination selected the college for their announcement, and I think that's an expression of the value of that institution for that community and for the state of Florida. So we feel very honored to have had that opportunity, and the students to see history in the making.
I can just imagine the call. I mean, you have 170. You have a lot going on. I'm sure potential President Bush could call up and you could just say, listen, I know, Eduardo, you're busy. So you do have a kind of Herculean job, though. You have 170,000 students. You've been there for 20 years, running and building this, what used to be a community college, but Miami Dade College. When you think about community colleges and the transformation and the experiences you've seen, President Obama has said this is where we're going to see action in the future of the educational backbone in the country, of trying to change that set of opportunities for people. What lessons do you have to share about making a college like yours the backbone of something like what Obama's trying to put on the table?
Well, let me say that, yes, I've been there as president for 20 years, but I've been there for 45 years doing all kinds of things.
You went to school there.
I went to school there.
Because the other
schools
rejected you.
That's why I'm so passionate about it, because I was rejected by all schools that I applied for.
Who rejected you?
Princeton, Brown, I could go on and on. But they have they have all come back to give me honorary doctorates.
Yeah, they want to give you honorary degrees
So,
now.
revenge. Anyway, in America, we have to accept the fact that our higher education system is a very elitist system. How do institutions get their ranking is based on how many students they keep out, as opposed to how many students they let in. Only a small percentage of those students who apply get to be admitted, and then they have to have the highest, they are ranked on the basis of the average SAT score, and so forth and so on. The community college is a totally different concept. It's that of an open door,
right,
where every American, regardless of where they come from and their circumstances, have an opportunity to achieve their dreams. And with that comes a lot of challenges, because these students, for the most part, come to us unprepared for college. Most of them come from poor, low-income backgrounds, first generation. In the case of Miami Dade College, most of them have a native language other than English, and they have to work and go to school at the same time. So many of them end up going part-time. And that presents us with a big challenge, because it's not just opening the door, but making sure that door doesn't become a revolving door, that those students are able to take advantage of the systems. And the way that we have done with that, and we have worked very, very hard for many years at Miami Dade College to make sure that school becomes a college of choice. So it's not I go there because I have no other alternative, but I go there because I can get an education that is second to none, and I know I'm going to get the support. And there are many facets to making a community college a positive experience, and it takes a lot of resources, it takes a lot of determination, because first of all, you need to create a culture of success. Many of these students come with low self-esteem. They have been taught all their life, like me. I mean, I was told in high school that I was no college material, that I should go to the trade school. Nothing wrong with the trade school, but I knew I wanted to do something more. I thought I was capable of that. And you have to deal with all those issues. and provide an extraordinary level of support for those students.
You have 170,000 people. When you say extraordinary level of support, I'm I don't know how you make that equation work. How do you make extraordinary level of support work for 170,000 people a year?
Well, you cannot deal with them as a group. You need to deal with them as individuals. And you have to identify, where they stand and what is needed in order to make them successful. And you need to have a whole village of the institution working on behalf of every single student. And that is a tough assignment, because the fact of the matter is that these students bring with a lot of talent. If you ask me today if I'd rather have those students or the students who are attending Harvard, I will take my students. They come with a tremendous level of talent, but as we know, opportunity is not universal. And what we try to do is open the door of opportunity for them to be able to succeed, to believe in themselves. A culture of success, student success that is based on evidence. Today with analytics, we're able to do so much more than we were able to do even 10 years ago. And to be able to create with high expectations and high standards, but you have to support them. They come, many of them, with basic deficiencies in basic English and in mathematics, which becomes a roadblock to achieving, joining the mainstream of academic life. And it takes a most dedicated faculty. That's why for years we have put all the emphasis on faculty development, to be able to provide them with the tools to be successful. In creating an environment where the students have a sense of belonging. One of the main problems that we have today is that students go to institutions where they don't get a sense of belonging, and that's how they drop out. They don't feel engaged. I mean, a student who's engaged, that's a student who's going to succeed and is going to graduate. So getting the students engaged in the learning process is critical. And having faculty who understand that and who are determined to put the students at the center of decision making, as opposed to institution exists for the faculty, as opposed to institution exists for the students, make a big difference. And that's why I think we have been successful. We have achieved by Florida standards a record of student success of 88%. We have increased graduation in the last 8 years alone by 40%. And, we graduate more African Americans and more Hispanics than any other institution, not just community college, any other institution in the country. We're very proud of that. And what we have done is there is hardly a household in Miami-Dade County that has not been touched by the college. And it's the impact of that in the workforce, in creating the professional force of the city, has been critical to the growth of Miami, which, as you know, is a very young city, but it's been growing very, very fast.
So what do you think you are doing that many of your colleagues at other community colleges around the country are not? What are the biggest dividing lines between your success? You run, everyone says you run one of the largest universities, colleges in the country, in the world, really. And obviously there's some secret sauce that you bring to this, and I'm interested in you revealing that right now.
It's not really secret sauce. It's doing what we know works. And many institutions make the mistake of having boutique programs that are successful.
You said boutique programs?
Boutique. Yeah. And what I mean by that is that unless you are able to bring successful practices to scale, you are just going to stay there, being a boutique program. And community colleges have the most difficult job in the country. They are the most underfunded. They usually get 1/4 of what the universities and even the K-12 system gets in order to do the work. They have been underappreciated for the longest time. It's only been during the Obama administration that everybody now talks about community colleges. Before this administration made community colleges central to the discussion, most people did not even know that they existed and definitely did not value them. And what's important is to know the facts. At Miami Dade College, 90% of the students who graduate from us transfer to a university either within the state of Florida or to other universities, some of them the best universities in the countries, 90% of them within 1 year after graduation. That is an incredible credit for the institution. And they perform at the same or higher level than the native university students who were handpicked on the basis of high GPA and high SAT. That's a tribute to the faculty. That's a tribute to the work that the faculty does day in and day out. And I'm very proud of that. And I get passionate about it because I see how we change lives. I mean, 68% of my students are low income, okay? And to know that the students come to our institution and they find, it's like a dream factory. It's a place where they come and they know that if they apply themselves and they work hard, sometimes under the most difficult circumstances, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And that is priceless.
I was just on your website. Actually, I was looking at your Twitter feed. You're a very busy guy. And there weren't any negative tweets about you. I was trying to find someone who had said something nasty.
That's today.
Didn't
We'll see tomorrow. Yeah. Don't look tomorrow. Don't look yesterday.
But I noticed you had in your, what is it, the Ideas Lab or the Ideas Center, $5,000 challenge grants for startups. Knight Foundation was funding it to help do this, and you've just been inducted in the U.S. News Hall of Fame as one of the STEM leaders in the nation. But when you look at this and the opportunities in the students, when you look at the question of innovation and the kind of role that you play, Miami does not. I mean, we've been struck. The Atlantic has a big event called Startup City Miami. Yeah. We're very proud of it. We work with the Knight Foundation. But Miamians, if I may say that, themselves often don't see themselves as a source of profound innovation. They see themselves as great beach territory, tourism, and a center for fraud.
Well, yes, all of that.
So how do you get institutionally beyond that?
The Kaufman Foundation just released a study that shows that Miami is the second city with the most startups in the nation.
Interesting.
And I think a lot of that has to do with Miami Dade College. The Idea Center, we, in the last 10 years, we have placed a lot of importance to the whole idea of entrepreneurship training and innovation. I think that we need to teach our students to be collaborators, to be problem solvers, to be team leaders, to critical thinkers. And by the way, I'm one who believes that college, there is something more than just training people for jobs. We have an obligation to train people to become citizens who are engaged, who participate in the process. And it's possible to do all that. I believe very strongly in liberal education and the role that plays in preparing the students to succeed. Just giving a student a straight technical training without teaching them how to think is the biggest mistake that you can make, especially in a time when the technology changes every day and the jobs of tomorrow have not been invented yet. 5 years from now, the jobs that are going to be hot have not been invented. So I think it's very important to do all that. And so what we have done, and we take no shame in working with others and borrowing ideas. We've been working with Babson College, which is credited with having one of the best entrepreneurial curriculum, a 3-year program with them to train all of our faculty to infuse entrepreneurial ideas and concepts into the courses. And not just business and engineering. Every time people think of entrepreneurship education, they think of the School of Business and the School of Science. We have done away with the silos. And we believe that where it's the arts and the humanities, the social science, no matter what, entrepreneurship plays a very important role, especially in a city like Miami, being a new city. We're not the base for large corporate headquarters. So the small business community is the one that runs the economy in Miami. And training people to be able to create their own jobs, to innovate, et cetera, is extremely important. As well as bringing the latest technology for our students to train them for real jobs, like, in cybersecurity, biotechnology, biopharmaceutical, robotics engineering. I mean, you name it, we could go on and on. We have more than 300 pathways into different careers that the students can choose from. And that provides them with an incredible opportunity to really participate in the system.
Let me transport you 20 years ahead to the year 2035. What do you think we will think of when we say the word college? And what parts, when we talk about college and graduation today, will remain then, and which parts do you think will fall away?
Let me put it this way. I think more and more America is coming to the understanding that differently from 40, 50 years ago, as we have entered the knowledge innovation economy, you think of 40, 50 years ago, most Americans with little education could go into factories and offices doing repetitive tasks, mostly manual, earn the kind of wages that would allow them to join the middle class, buy a home, stay in a job for 30 years, and enjoy a good pension. Well, first of all, Americans today change jobs during their productive life upwards of 10 times. Secondly, those 30-year jobs do not exist today to the level that it was. There are less and less of them. And secondly, with just a high school diploma today, it's hard for you to get a job with a high wage that allows you to raise a family, and most likely you stay in the cycle of poverty for the rest of your life. College has gone from being something nice to do and good to do for a certain group of people to an imperative. It's a national security issue. It's the only way that we're going to remain competitive in the world globalized economy. And so 20 years from now, what I see is that most people will realize that colleges become the place where people go and will constantly go to update skills, to get new certifications, to basically continue to get the tools to be productive. When people think of colleges today, people think of 18, 19-year-olds. Well, a lot of people who come to my college are not necessarily, even though we draw the highest number of high school graduates at the school, you know how many women in their 30s, their 40s, and 50s enroll at this college for different reasons? Because they went, got married, raised children, make all the sacrifices, worked, and now it's their time to come and upgrade skills or get new skills to be able to incorporate themselves into the workforce. You know how many people come for certifications? How many people come to learn a foreign language, which is essential for the job that they need? So it's not just the 18 and 19-year-olds. It's all these people. And I see colleges becoming the source of a community to be able to allow themselves to continue to be productive participants in the economy.
Peter Thiel has been out there trying to convince smart young people in colleges that colleges crush their creativity and will destroy their aspirations, and paying them money to leave and depart. Has he hired any of your people away from school?
No, but I can tell you, even one of the best examples of people who dropped out of college and who's been very successful is Bill Gates. And he has said many times, and there was an article 2 weeks ago where he emphasized the importance of completing college and going to college. Yes, there are a few who get lucky, but the fact of the matter is, without a solid college education, and sometimes doesn't even have to be a bachelor's degree. Today, students who complete the associate in science, which is a 2-year at my college, in many cases, start with salaries much higher than the students who end up with a bachelor's degree. And I can give you examples: air traffic controllers, nursing, the physician assistant. I could go on and on and on. We have physician assistants who are now starting at least with $90,000 a year. We have nurses that start with a minimum of $70,000 a year. Air traffic controllers who are paid $65,000 a year. And I could go on and on. But these students also realize that life changes very fast. That's the nature of the modern economy. And that we all need, lifelong learning is here to stay. We all need to upgrade skills and continue to learn.
If we gave you the Iron Throne, which you may have already, from Game of Thrones, my latest fad, what would you do if you were in control of the country and its educational investments? What would you do to you've sort of looked at the four-year colleges, some of them as very elitist. If you could move beyond Miami-Dade and you had a nationwide impact,
it will be very difficult because, as we know, this is one of the few countries in the world where education is not centralized. You know, most countries have a Ministry of Education, and all the decisions, it's very easy to do planning and all that.
Do we need one?
Not necessarily. I love but we need understanding on the part of the states. Because the fact of the matter is that the states, in order to compete with each other, in order to compete internationally, need to do a lot of things that are going to change the way that we support institutions and the way we support people. Frankly, we need to reverse the equation in terms of funding. We need to make sure that those institutions that are serving the kind of students that we're serving, get additional support, because we have the most difficult challenge. We have the challenge of trying to help students who are the most vulnerable and who come with the deficiencies that need to be overcome. People talk about completing college in 4 years or 2 years or whatever. That's very easy to say when you come to the university well prepared, you are in dormitories, you have a full-time life, and you have parents who are supporting you financially. For my students, they have to spend a semester or a year just taking remedial courses to be able to join the mainstream of academic life, and who most of the time have to come part-time in order to support their families and work. You're not going to graduate in 4 years. You're not going to graduate in 5, sometimes even in 6. So it's funny at graduation to see the age differences. Yes, you have the ones who come well prepared, the ones who go into the honors program, many other programs, and they graduate just like the average students, in 4 years, 2 years, whatever. But that's not the rule in America today.
Let me open to the floor. While we're doing that, hands go up. This is an incredibly interesting man right up here in front. But while we're getting the microphone up here, any of the presidential candidates thus far impress you on education issues?
All of them.
Okay.
And then we'll talk privately.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jessica Zetzman with Washington Area Women's Foundation, and we as a foundation actually do fund community colleges because we know what an important part they are for the low-income women that we serve. And you touched on it, but I was wondering if you could give more examples of how you're serving these non-traditional students. You said, do we know how many women in their 30s with kids are enrolling at your school? But what are you doing to make them successful, and why are they enrolling in such high numbers?
Great question.
Yeah. Well, with the 18 and 19-year-olds, we don't wait for them to enroll in college. We are within every high school in Miami, from the 9th grade all the way to the senior year, working with them, working with parents, telling them about how to get financial aid, what they need to do in order to be prepared for college when they finish. We bring them all to the campus to be able to get familiarized with the environment. We give them all kind of advice and support every year. We do contests for them. We allow them to participate in summer sessions. We allow many of them, the ones that have the grades, the ability to come and take courses to be able to advance faster through high school. We have 2 great high schools within the college that we manage. And the 2 of them...
Should just make you mayor of the whole place.
No. I have enough with what I have. But I'll tell you, these 2 schools are the 2 of the highest performing schools in the nation. The students, when they graduate with a high school diploma and the college degree for the first 2 years. And sometimes they get the college degree prior to the high school diploma, because our graduation is in May and the high school graduation is in June. But see what that represents to the families. First of all, they don't pay a penny for that. Those courses that they take with us, they take in lieu of some of the courses that they have to take for graduation from the high school. And when they come to us, they already have 2 years ahead. So they go into the junior year. And I think that, if I had my way, and we had a Ministry of Education in the United States, I would eliminate the senior year. That's the first thing I would do. I would take those students who are doing well and prepared and put them to take college courses, dual enrollment. And I will take the majority of the students who are not prepared for college, and I would put them in an intensive year of basic skills in writing, reading, and mathematics. So when they finish, they are ready to go and conquer the world and enroll in college and do well.
Traditional and non-traditional students.
Yeah, actually.
Interesting. Yes, way over here. Yes.
Hi, my name is Mark D'Alessio. I'm with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And my question for you is, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the role that the business community is playing in Miami to help influence or kind of give some feedback on the curriculum at the college to try and better prepare students for those jobs that are kind of hard to fill.
Thank you, Mark.
It's essential. And I think that's one of the secrets of our success. And that is, we have well over 600 professional business people that are part of the advisory boards of our programs. Every program that we offer has an advisory board composed of business leaders. And they are the ones who help us with the curriculum. They're the ones who help us with introducing the technology. They are the ones who, in many cases, teach in the program. They are the ones who supply us with equipment. So it's a win-win situation. And right now, for example, we're working on developing a new analytics, data science analytics program. And we're working with Siemens, to give you a name, and Next Era, to try to come up with the best possible program to be able to have the students trained that they would hire. We have programs with the Florida Power and Light System, which is the power company in Miami, where we train nuclear technologists for their nuclear plant. We train them based on the curriculum that we work together, and they hire, at graduation, you see them getting the diploma, and then at the other end, somebody from the company offering them with a job offer. And it's a win-win situation. Today, we need to work more closely together. For a long time, business has paid a lot of, they have talked a lot about supporting education, but they have not really participated. I think that is changing very fast. They are providing more internship opportunities for students, which I think is basic. Student who has the opportunity for an internship early on in their careers is a student who is going to be engaged, is a student who's going to continue and will graduate.
Just before we close out, I just want to set a context thing here. So not only has our guest had a couple of presidential candidates out speaking at his college, but Eduardo Padón is on the board of the Council on Foreign Relations. He's on the board of the Kennedy Center here in town, the College Board Advocacy and Policy Center, the White House Fellows Selection Panel, the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute, and it goes on and on and on for like a mile here. And so I just want to say it's such a pleasure and privilege to have you up here today. I know that when you begin thinking about complex systems, because essentially you're not only reaching out, you're a systems integrator trying to create a very different pathway to this. How much, has President Obama called you and said, how are you doing so well to take any lessons?
Well, I am fortunate to have a very good relationship with the president for years.
Be less politically correct. Like
No. But seriously, the president has taken a great deal of interest in what we do. He has visited with us a couple of times. The First Lady has.
Are you there this time?
I happened to be there when they did. And they have been extremely supportive. And the president has the ability to listen, which not all public elected officials do. And I think he appointed me to chair the White House Commission on Educational Excellence. So I have the opportunity to provide feedback on regular basis to the president. And it's something that little by little, I think, the leadership of the country is going to have to the understanding that education for the future of this country, especially higher ed, an opportunity for every American to get the skills necessary to achieve the American dream is essential. As I said before, to me, it's a question of national security.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking Eduardo Padón, President of Miami Dade College.